50 the difference.
43.
So red and colour will leave Jimmy needing a snooker.
Be interesting to see the way Stephen plays this. If he's got any aspirations of a century, he'll stop it dead and play the half ball black. But it's more important, as we already know, one more red needed. Yes, he's left a nice angle. I was going to say he needs to be low or high on this black. He'll play the cannon, the one next to the pink now. Just needs to hit it half ball.
Three very high quality frames
50.
of snooker. You can bring a red into play here as well.
52.
Top class stuff. Jimmy White 54 in the opening frame. Stephen Hendry 1 chance, 97 the second frame. Stephen Hendry 1 chance, and he clinches the third frame. Top quality
58.
stuff.
Nothing to be concerned about yet for Jimmy. Not missed anything when he's in the balls. You've got to expect the top class players, as you get in this tournament, obviously the top 16 in the world, you expect them to play well against you.
59.
So you're not too surprised if they make frame winning breaks, but what you have got to do is score heavily yourself.
Well, he's got an angle. I think he can screw off the black and take the white over towards that red. It just depends. I think if he comes somewhere along the line, he can get to that red. Not quite. Hadn't quite got the angle.
66.
So that might just have spoiled the chance of the century. Unless he can pull off a cracking pot here. It's close. Terrific shot.
67.
Fantastic pot, that. Unbelievable. He played that with
75.
a lot of check side, so I think it'll go past the blue. So if the green goes in, we'll get the century. Well, there's not a lot of room there, is there? No. Stephen knew straight away the green wasn't in, so no century break. But what a magnificent effort of 75. Stephen Hendry extends his lead. He's now 2-1 in front.
It's great snooker. Stephen Hendry is 30 points up as we rejoin the match in frame 4.
This is where the crowd get a bit excited and they shout, "Come on, Jimmy!" But when Jimmy comes to the table, he's nothing to have a go at. It's fairly safe. He's looking at the two reds to see if they're a plant into the middle. There's a bit of space between those reds. No, that's not on. And he's looking at it again. It's a risky one if he's going to try and make this. He could play the red up the other end of the table and stun in behind the brown and yellow. This is a risk. Well played. Brilliant. Brilliant shot. Brilliant shot. Fully committed to that plant. Because if he had missed the plant, the frame was over.
And we'd have been saying in the commentary box, how on earth could he play a shot like that? But that's Jimmy White for you. He knows that he's playing well. He knows that really he's done nothing wrong and he's 2-1 behind. He thought, well, I've got to really try and create an opening, and he's done that. And good luck to him from whatever he gets from here. Deserves it.
60.
We'll get another chance to show you that plant in a moment, and it really was a shot that, if you're 2-1 in front, you can say, well, have a go for it, but 2-1 behind, it was so very dangerous. He had to turn this red over 2 inches, and it went right into the heart of the pocket, and also got the check side on the white to come out for the black. Deserves to win a frame if you can pot those.
He just let it run a little bit further than he intended there, the white, but should be okay. Just meant that he couldn't stay for the black, but this looks pretty good. Perfectly played. Now he's got quite a few choices here. He's just looking to see if there was a possibility that the red behind the pink would go. He can play 2 or 3 shots here. He could screw into the pink, develop the pink and red. He can just leave the straightforward red with a little shot like the one he's just played. He had a multiple of choices there.
30.
Yes, and he's going to need 6 of the remaining 7 reds with colours to make the frame safe. So there's going to be at least one difficult shot to play in this break.
36. 37. 42. 43.
Yes, the only red that is safe is the one that's near the pink, and was he 13 in front? Blue will be 18. So he could clinch the frame without needing that red. He's back looking at it again, but it's very tight as to whether it would pot into the right corner. He can play for the other 2, there's no problem with that.
Looks very tight to me. You can probably pot it if he finishes high above the middle pocket. But this is excellent snooker. Jimmy White's had 2 chances, 54, 49 and counting.
49.
Stephen Hendry 2 chances, 97 and 75. If Jimmy can clinch this frame at this visit.
He's just let the position outside of it slip a little bit there. He didn't want to be straight on the black because first glance he can't screw back. As you can see with the angle, if he screwed back he'd be hitting that red. So he's having to force a slight angle here, and that's well played.
Yes, excellent shot. But, you know, leaving himself straight on the black is something that he's done too many times this season. But a great recovery, but needs another one. A lot of topspin.
I think he'd have to screw up for the blue here. If he's dead straight, he'll screw back up for the blue. Played to perfection.
57.
He can leave himself on that red. It's to the right of the brown.
Yes, I'm doing a bit of arithmetic will tell me he needs green or above off this next red. This is excellent. And it all came from that plant, Dennis.
62.
He's back looking at this red behind the pink again, but the frame will be safe before he gets to that, if he gets red colour.
$63.
Only problem with this is playing it slow. He could snooker himself behind the pink because he can't afford to play it hard. And there you are, snooker behind the pink.
I'm surprised.
68.
Now he's looking at the scoreboard. 38 in front. He's got to hit the red, and he's got to hit the red in such a way that he doesn't leave an easy chance for Stephen Hendry to get that snooker that he needs. So that was a poor shot, the last one, when he cannoned the pink. He shouldn't have been hitting it full ball.
Yes, but it's once again not being aware of the situation, Dennis, and he's thinking now, I'll make a century now, I've won the frame, I'll hit the pink half ball, get on the red. He's not considered what we saw in commentary, that if he hits it full, he's snookered. 38 behind, can still lose the frame now. You'd expect him to hit it. Oh, God, don't be a free ball, otherwise it could be under frame.
Foul. Jimmy White, 68. Stephen Hendry, 4.
No miss called because it was at the snooker's required stage. But Stephen Hendry can now win. He doesn't really want to be playing the red onto the black and knocking the black safe, because Stephen needs the lot. And he doesn't want to put Jimmy back in, which he could do, because Jimmy could move that black. Well, he's putting Jimmy back, so Jimmy has a chance to get down behind the yellow and brown here. I'm just wondering if Stephen has made the right choice there. We'll find out very shortly.
Why has Stephen not played this safety shot? Clip the red onto the side cushion. Massive target, as long as he misses a kiss on the blue to get in behind yellow and brown. Almost guaranteed to get the red safe, but Jimmy looks to have be playing something else here, trying to get the black safe probably. But that's the shot I thought that Stephen Hendry would just get down and play without even thinking. It just looked an absolute natural.
Well, a terrific round of applause, but just keep your eye on this. Stephen Hendry will be taking this one on. Well, he didn't.
I'm with you, Dennis. I thought they'd have a go at that. Bound to have been on the black.
It's the type of shot that he normally does take on. But he's got a pretty good safety there.
That's a good shot. The thing is, in this situation, when a player needs the black off the last red, what you must do is leave plenty of distance between cue ball and object ball.
He tried to hold that in behind the black. He had so much side on that shot. Now, can he get up behind the brown and yellow off this? Might just be a chance to do that. Little thin one off the red.
This could be tough to hit.
I'm just wondering if the blue's in the way. That's the natural angle to hit that red, but the blue looks to be slightly in the way of that. It's not that easy because the green's in the way if he goes off the bottom cushion.
Just wondering, Dennis, can he come inside the blue and probably play at two cushions?
He's got to avoid that blue. And he has. Now, where are they going to finish up? Has he fluked the snooker? No. But Stephen Hendry, if he takes the red on, has to get on the black.
Well, I think if he's not straight, it helps that the brown's not on its spot. Well, he can't stun it into, get the pace into it, so it'll only be a safety shot here. There's no value at all in the pot, can't get on the black.
He'd like to get a snooker here. Not quite. It's a fascinating end to this fourth frame before the players go off to their mid-session interval. Well, Stephen was trying to develop the black a little bit more as well as play the snooker. There's a gap right through to the red.
Yeah, Stephen very unlucky there. Played a very, very good shot. Oh, where's the red going? Doesn't want to come past that blue. Could be snookered here.
But once again, imperative that Jimmy hits the red, because if he makes contact with that red, Stephen still needs a red and the black's tied up. If he misses this red, it could leave a good chance for Stephen Hendry. Now he doesn't need that difficult black, and the miss called as well.
Stephen Hendry full.
Yeah, I can understand the miss being called, Dennis, but this is one of the times where the rules are nonsense. I mean, Jimmy's absolutely trying his heart out to hit this red, purely because he knows that Stephen Hendry now needs the black. Sometimes the rule can be pushed to the extreme.
Has he fluked it? Oh, the red was going in.
Foul.
It might be a free ball
Stephen
even,
Hendry
so what a turnaround here. The red was going in until it contacted the white and knocked the white in. You just have to hit and hope in this sort of situation. The red was going in, but the white got in the way.
All because of Jimmy going for the century earlier on. Nicely on the blue, try to develop the red into a way to pot it rather than just make sure of the points and play a good safety. The number of times we do that when we've been playing and think, oh goodness me, why did you do that, do this? This now becomes a frame of, well, ridiculously important for Jimmy White now to win. This would really hurt if he lost this frame. And I honestly wouldn't fancy him to win the match if he went 3-1 behind the way he's lost this frame.
Yeah, it's a swerve shot this time, but you never know where they're going to finish. That will do very nicely. I don't think I've ever heard an applause like that for someone getting out of a snooker. And that's well played. Mind you, it has bounced. I thought it was going to finish on the cushion.
Yes, Dennis, along with myself, is suggesting that Jimmy might take this pot on. As long as he avoids the cannon on the blue, he's bound to get the white back into the black spot area of the table. The cannon on the blue could be a problem, so he's got to avoid that. hit it far too thick, and he hasn't got away with it, I don't think.
I think he's fluked a snooker, will he? He's fluked a full ball snooker. So Stephen now has got to come off the side cushion and hope for the best. Where's that red going? Where's the white going? He needs red and any colour to go to the mid-session interval, 2-all.
And this couldn't be worse. When I say it couldn't be worse, the red's right over the pocket. But to get the cue ball out in open play, is going to have to play it at pace. This is not a certainty, this red.
As long as he doesn't hit it too hard, he'll give himself a chance of the yellow or brown. Well, it looks as if he's playing with deep screw. And look where he's got the white too.
Jimmy whispered something under his breath, and I'm sure it was something like, "You silly fool, you should have done this earlier." That was a fantastic pot. Stephen Hendry has conceded.
How do you play against Stephen Hendry? You both know down the years. What's the way to go about it?
Well, you just have to play your own game, and hopefully that's good enough. As it is, the table's playing pretty poorly at the moment, and the balls are kicking. It has sort of lowered the standard, which is perhaps to Jimmy's advantage over a player like Stephen Hendry, who can sort of polish frames off in one visit. It's harder at the moment to polish a frame off in a visit. The ball's not going where you want it to.
You wouldn't bet against this going all the way, John, would you?
Not at all, Ray. It's set up for a cracker, and basically watch this space.
Willie and Dennis, you can watch it firsthand. I'm sure you're as excited as we are about the way this is developing.
Oh, without any doubt, Ray. It's been a cracking match. That last frame, of course, just made it a little bit more exciting. The fact that we know these players are human and can miss a shot occasionally. But all in all, taken away from the last frame, the standard has been top draw. And they're both queuing well, as you can see there, very, very close to the pot. It's a tough one to call, even though Jimmy's 4-3 in front. You would still have to suggest Stephen Hendry's still just slight favourite. But obviously, if Jimmy could win one more. The Blackie potted Dennis for Blackball game. This was tough.
Jimmy was the first to see it heading down into the pocket.
One.
No, I was going to say, is he going to take a difficult blue on, but straight away down for a safety, and maybe rushed that safety shot a little bit. That's a careless one. He's left a possible pot on here. And the pot is a bit risky, and he can't get through for the black, so safety shot.
One.
Well, I don't know whether he looked at that plant. You'd think if he played the plant, he would have played position, so.
Stephen Hendry one.
What do you think, Willie? Did he play that plant?
No, I don't think so. Danny just got down and played it very quickly because he knew he could get a good white. Clearly got the advantage now in the safety exchange, the fact that Jimmy snookered. Should be able to rest onto them somewhere, though, without leaving a pot on.
Yeah, the problem is to nestle into either side. There's reds in the way, so it's not quite as straightforward. Using a couple of cushions, but this could go wrong, and it has.
Even there, Stephen Hendry, rather than just stun up for the blue, played an aggressive shot, just screwed into the pack, flicked a couple of reds out, knowing he was going to be on the pink.
You can screw round off two cushions, though, to leave those two reds. Anywhere near the circle would be ideal.
Seven.
It'd be interesting to see how many Stephen can score from here, having been kept off the table for a while. He missed more shots in the last frame than he missed in the whole match.
8.
Well, he's left himself quite a way short, so it's another longish pot. And this is the type of shot that Stephen started missing in the last frame, in the early part of it. Now let's see if his confidence is fully restored again. I think that answers the question.
11.
Maybe cued this lovely. Choice of reds to play for here. Just be playing in an area where he's possibly on both. So if he's too hard, he's on one. If he's too slow, he's on the other. That's the way to break build.
50.
And don't be surprised if he thinks a few out here as well. He doesn't have to play it as hard as he normally does to go into them, because he's going to push a red towards the right-hand corner. Got to be a little careful he doesn't tie the black up if he decides to play the reds. Yes, he was. I can't believe, because the red was kissing the black, Dennis. I don't know why he played it
60.
then.
Well, basically there, I think he took his eye off the pot completely. He was just thinking more about the white, and wow, what a miss.
Yeah, but the red was bound to hit, you know, the black and knock it off its spot. Now, I agree with it to open the frame to win at one visit, but if you're going to knock the black safe, or safe-ish, you shouldn't play it.
The main thing is you shouldn't miss the pot, should you?
One.
With pink and black being where they are, this is only a half chance at the moment.
Six.
Oh, that needs to spin. Oh dear, give himself a bit to do, but big target in between yellow and brown around the two cushions. Well, I say big target. You see, that's... See, the bad shot wasn't that. The bad shot was the red before, not to get topside of the blue.
Stephen Hendry 5.
But once again, for somebody of Jimmy's class to cannon into a bought colour, very careless. I think Jimmy's getting a bit excited because he knows he's got Stephen Hendry on the hook here, and it wouldn't be a shock for Jimmy to beat Hendry, but obviously Jimmy's second favourite.
Well, it's amazing, these last couple of frames. He's got very tense out there. Now, was that a kick? Or was it just a bad shot? Let's have a look at this again. Yes, the red jumped. So everything's happening out there at the moment. Of course, they played in the quarterfinals here, the Masters last year, and well, I see no ships. Mind you, I suppose I used to do. I remember doing that in Belfast, watching Alex Higgins playing Jackie Ray. I think it was the Ulster Hall, and I had a pair of binoculars, sat right at the back. Mind you, with my eyesight, I needed binoculars.
I just wondered, Dennis, whether Stephen's risking here, playing to bring black and pink into play. That's a possibility. Yes, he really wanted to try and make that into a shot to nothing to go for blue or bought colour, but it wasn't on.
The last couple of frames, Stephen has missed quite a number of shots. The pressure is building on both players.
It's interesting to hear what Steve Davis was saying last night in his match with Ken Doherty. They said after the interval they changed the cue ball because it was getting a bit heavy and damp, and I just wonder whether the atmosphere in here, the longer the day goes on, the damper it gets, because before the interval, no kicks hardly, pace of the table good, no real bounces off the cushion. After the interval, it's suddenly got a little bit scrappy. So I just wonder whether we need to kind of iron the tables in the interval rather than just brush them, Dennis.
Well, the thing that's baffling me, we're talking about this a lot this year. Now, the Masters has been here for what 20 years, something like that, and the tables have always played perfectly. So I just don't know what's wrong this year.
Stephen Hendry came to the table 14 points in front. He'll be very disappointed if he didn't score enough from the loose reds to leave Jimmy White needing the snooker at this visit.
Well, you could hear a pin drop at the moment. Nearly 2,000 people in here. And they're loving every second of this. Purposely holding the spot this time.
Six. Seven.
Not hard enough. Going to have to cannon into the black now. It could turn out in his favour, Dennis, this, couldn't it? He played a bad shot there, and it could end up being in his favour, because he'll bring the black into play here. So sometimes playing a bad shot can turn things in your favour.
12.
Well, he looks to be straight on this red, and now a chance to see the cue power of Stephen Hendry. And I think this type of shot, he plays better with the new cue.
13.
So much so, Dennis, he overscrewed it by a couple of feet. Really got into that nicely. Playing to finish just past the pink spot area for the black, but as you can see, the whites just kept rolling and rolling. And now he has a choice of blue or black. Certainly taking the more difficult choice of the two.
Please make sure these mobile phones are turned off, please. So identifying.
Well, there's somebody in the audience that's obviously either had a bet on Jimmy or maybe wants Jimmy to win so much. Now and again he's either talking or coughing or undoing sweet papers right on Stephen's shot.
21.
But this time, unlike the previous frame when he missed after having to get up on the shot, he's potted it this time. And now looks assured to level at 4-4.
$26. 27. 32. 33.
4 each.
$37.
We always get great value for money when these two players are on the table. It's amazing, Willie, they've played each other 49 times.
41.
Jimmy has won 15 of those.
So I think Jimmy's possibly got a good record against Stephen Hendry than
43.
anybody has. Because to beat this guy 15 times that's at the table now proves how good you really are.
Stephen Hendry, 43 in the front.
Would that be a reason? 6
Stephen
it is.
Hendry to break.
Yeah, very much so. It might even be a case of just whatever they've got on, turn it off. Just let the table heaters do, you know, whatever they did, just turn it off. Let the table heaters do the job.
Whatever's on, turn it off. That's what
the
JP
one.
says.
It might be a kettle, you never
Willie
know.
and Dennis, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Steve said there's a breeze blowing through the conference centre. There's a whirlwind at the table at the moment. And he's just knocked in a cracking long red.
1.
He's okay. Good opening long pot.
5. Yes.
2 reds available. If you could get to the one to the right of the black, try for that. Just anywhere near the circle. Well, you can play for the one to the right first of all, but in a couple of shots time you can get to the one to the right of the black.
10. $11.
Overscrewed it slightly, but the same sort of shot applies. If he can get somewhere near the circle, he leave that red. It's one of those, because he's overran it on the blue, he was debating whether to maybe, he thought about taking the yellow on. I don't think he's got an angle to pot the yellow and go into the red, so let's see. He had the angle, he's into the reds. Is he on one? He's not. It's a difficult cut that he's faced
30.
with.
Yes, it was difficult to generate a lot of cue ball speed from that kind of angle. A little bit thinner would have been nicer, but the red's cuttable, but surely Jimmy won't take it on. He'll be playing a flick off the reds, trying to get cue ball in behind brown and yellow.
Jimmy White, 30.
Stephen Hendry's safety has not been up to scratch in the last couple of frames. He's not found the baulk cushion. He's usually very proficient in that department, as he is in most departments. There's a half a chance for Jimmy. Decided to play with a lot of check side, made the pot a lot more difficult.
This is not straightforward. Can't get to the reds to get down the left side of the table, and to get down the right side he'd have to make a very thin contact, and he's hampered with the brown slightly.
Just to continue the debate that the lads were having in the studio, Dennis, when we were playing, it's only about 6 or 7 years that table heaters have been brought into our game. We never used to have kicks and bounces off the cushion without table heaters years ago. Why don't they go back to scratch?
But you know, Willie, I think we had a call from our great friend and colleague for many years, must be sitting at home watching here, David Vine. And David said they always had a bit of a problem in the arena with the air conditioning and a little bit of dampness, but the tables always played well.
One.
Hope you're keeping well, David, and love to Mandy also.
Yes, one of the greatest presenters of all time, David Vine.
Tell you what, Ray Stubbs is not too bad, Willie.
Great pot from Stephen. A little fortuitous to have kissed the red full ball to stay on the pink, but when you decide to take a pot on like that, sometimes you can make your own luck, and that's one of the situations where Stephen Hendry made his own luck. Good pot, got a good kiss.
7. 8. 13. 14.
'If he's dead straight on this red, he's okay. He could probably get onto the black.
19.
He's looking at one into the middle pocket as well. Yes, he can get onto the black here just by stunning it across the face of the pink and red. And in the next shot, if he can move the red away from the pink and get onto a red,
20.
developing this into a chance to score heavily again. Yes, he probably feels the kiss is not an option here because it would tie a couple of other balls up. Black will go on to the pink. Oh, in saying that, is there room for it to go on the pink spot? He wants to hope so, otherwise it'll go behind its own spot and tie pink and black up. Yes, clearly available onto the pink spot.
27.
So he's one cannon away. This next shot,
28.
if he decides to play the little flick onto the red and black, chance to win the frame at this visit. Same shot would have been the same if he'd have played the kiss on the red and black. I'm surprised he didn't play that.
33.
I just wondered, Dennis, he couldn't have hit it that bad. I think he probably did play the kiss on the black there and didn't get into the cue ball.
.34. Just the wrong side of the blue, so he's going to have to be very precise with the next positional shot. He's got to avoid the green. There's 2 reds he can leave into the left corner. Now that might be a little bit pacey.
39.
He had a choice to come up either side of the table there because the 2 reds are available into the left corner also. This is not easy to get position of. Where's the white? Where's the red?
Stephen Hendry, 39.
So it was the blue to red that was the problem there.
Yes, this is a strange one from Stephen. Okay, you can't pot everything, but it all developed from not bringing the black into play. Made things very, very difficult for him. Won't be happy with that.
Still keeping his composure, very calm, even though he played a poor shot there. The white should have been nowhere near the side cushion. He just didn't get into this one. What about this for a shot?
Six.
He's going to have to play another good one because the pink and black are tied up, so he's going to have to screw up with the blue. And this is where equipment, the extensions and the extension on your cue, he's got everything out here. The shot that he's going to play in the old days, well, you just forget about it. They used to have a tip on it the size of a mushroom, a big mushroom.
Seven.
Oh, I don't know what kind of angle he's got on this blue, but it's an opportunity to play the screw shot into pink and black. When I say pink and black, I mean red and black that are touching. If he's got the angle, that's what he'll play here. He'll play the screw shot into the black. But I don't think he's got that angle.
It's okay, though. He was never going to get on a red. It was very difficult there.
This is a good shot. Good pace. Shouldn't be a real problem, no, Dennis, just rolling up to one of these two reds on the cushion. Well, he's playing two cushions. This is dangerous. This does... Cannot see the value in this at all. Absolutely none, but got away with it.
Foul. Jimmy White 4.
Well, it's cost him 4 points, but how can you get the white into the middle pocket from that angle? That was amazing. Be a good shot just to shoot the white into the middle pocket from that angle. But no damage done. Well, this might just double back into the... And he'd be going down, could finish on the black. He might be trying the double here. It was always going to be safe, but it was worth the risk, that.
Yes, he's covered the red that's in open play, so Stephen's going to have to play a thin safety shot. These can always go wrong. Never easy, those kind of shots. If it jaws, it could be a free ball, but no jaw.
Jimmy White
should have the balls put back, because this is a tough safety shot he's attempting.
Yeah, you always tend to. We've seen Jimmy do it earlier in the match, play a similar shot, miss it, and then his second attempt he hit it too thick. So it'll be interesting to see if Stephen catches it thin enough this time. Yeah, he's played it well.
Really annoys you, doesn't it, when you put your opponent back into play and he plays a shot like that. Great shot.
Well, that's a cracker. That was one of the most difficult shots in the game that Jimmy has just played there. It's okay. A lot thicker than he intended, but that last shot that Jimmy played, when you've got the white on one cushion, the red on another cushion, toughest safety shot in the game.
There's a big target here behind green and black with a cue ball. Well, he's got into it too much. Just got into the cue ball too much, but still a good white.
some great tactical and safety play from both players, but look at the distance he had to travel. Caught it perfectly.
Well, if this kisses the brown, this is half. Wow, it's kissed it half ball. The red's still on, but it depends whether it's straight or not.
Well, there you can see it's almost straight, but well, it's a tough one.
One.
Well, to force the angle there, it was almost straight. 10 out of 10 for that, Jimmy.
Yes, the black's no good to him because it would go onto its own spot, so it's a screw shot off yellow or green.
Three.
Once again, it's for somebody of Jimmy's class, that's not great from that screw shot. He's so proficient in this screw shot department. He should have got very close to this red. He might still attempt the one on the cushion because he can play it at enough pace and with enough side to possibly get down on the back cushion with a chance of potting black or brown. And if it's on the cushion, these shots are easier than when they're just off the cushion. We'll just have a look whether it's, well, it's just off the cushion, so it's not so easy.
Well, is he taking it on? He is. It's there.
4.
And he's got a bit of angle on the brown to get up for that red near the black spot. But that was a terrific pot with the rest there. Now, has he dropped on the red this time? That's not what Jimmy wanted. He's almost straight on this red, so well, there's a little bit of angle. Is he going to risk to try and get onto the pink? If he does play it hard, it could wobble in the pocket.
The other alternative, of course, is just roll the red in dead weight, play off the black to leave Stephen Deed in a snooker, but he's playing at pace, I think. Oh, he hit that lovely. He hit that so well.
9.
That is a fantastic shot.
It's the way he's always played the game. If there's a half a chance there, he'll take it on. His opponent's the same, Stephen Hendry.
50.
A glimmer of hope. They'll take the difficult shot on.
16.
Yes, twice he played to get onto the red that was on the black spot. Twice he played it badly. Still kept it going. This is a great effort. This has been great, but it's just a fraction short again there.
22. 24.
This is a terrific performance from Jimmy White here. Especially the way Stephen Hendry played in the early part of this match. He was winning frames with one visit. Breaks of 75, 97, 101. Wow, look, this crowd have enjoyed every minute of this match.
Yes. 36.
He still looks calm and collected round that table. Doesn't matter about the pink. Doesn't matter about the pink. Great performance from Jimmy White.
A few moments. And William Dennis, it's all yours.
Thank you very much indeed, Ray. And the boys agree with Dennis tonight. It's a great match. This is the greatest players in the game. The table is spoiling it a little bit.
Thank you. The 10th frame.
Hendry looked
Jimmy
fantastic in the first session. Jimmy White's clearly knocked him out of his rhythm in the second session, and now one frame in front with a possible 2 to play.
Just a little distraction again.
Could you be quiet, please? Stuart, can you
We've actually got somebody, Dennis, with a flash camera,
get some security up there and throw
it
them.
really does need to be taken out of the room
Well, that's
now.
what
It's
I'm
getting a
now
little
told.
bit embarrassing.
Well,
Yes, Jimmy's getting a bit fed up with the whole thing as well. It's so difficult in this vast arena to find out. It sounded like somebody was just having a chat there as well. And that's a good shot. He's pushed the red over the pocket, but what a good shot he's played. And a generous round of applause from this terrific crowd. It's just that odd one that's causing a few problems, but overall the crowd have been fantastic here.
It's by far and away our biggest venue as well, Dennis, isn't it? The fact that we're used to playing in front of probably between 7,000 and 1,000 people. This holds 2,500, this venue, so consequently you're going to have more people that are likely to cause a problem, but I mean, they're just excited, that's all. They're so much on Jimmy's side, as you would expect in London. It's a tough safety shot. I don't know whether you can see enough of this red to pot it. No, just the containing safety. Needs another inch of weight. Not too bad.
I've seen so many times in the past Stephen Hendry when he's been put under pressure and has got it all to do. That's when he raises his game. He's going to have to do that here if he's to carry on in the Masters, because Jimmy White has put up a terrific performance here against the 7 times Embassy World Champion. There's a lot of experience walking around the table at the moment.
Yes, the only safe place really is in the jewels of the yellow pocket, but the red to the extreme left of the blue, if he cuts that and takes the white in baulk, he's got to be very careful he doesn't push the red over the middle. He's reluctant to play this shot, but he's decided to play it in the end. He's nearly pushed it over the corner.
I'm wondering if there's a gap. I think he might be able to get, well, not quite.
Yeah, Stephen certainly played the safety shot a little bit thinner off the red than he got, but it's actually put Jimmy in trouble because the red in baulk now, it's not easy to get safe off that one. It's turned out in his favour, the fact that the red's gone down in the baulk area.
Well, where's the white going to finish here? Can he judge the pace of it? He's left a pot on. In fact, he might have left one to the middle pocket also, which is the better one for Stephen Hendry.
I can only think the white must have rolled off on Jimmy's previous safety shot. He was so annoyed when he went back to the chair. See the red this time, Dennis, I think.
Yes, that last red that Stephen took on, he had to play it with pace to get good position. But he's covered the one to the right corner. He hasn't covered the one that'll snick into the left corner pocket. Jimmy coming around to have a look at that angle. The white will be running loose here.
One.
He had to rely on a bit of good fortune, and he hasn't had it.
It's a strange game. The white can finish anywhere bar on the cushion, and Jimmy's got a chance to get back for the red over the pocket with the black in play. It's finished in the only place where he's not even bound to be able to see the red over the pocket.
Well, there's no way he can get through to the red that's near the corner pocket. The blue's bound to be blocking the path.
6.
Or the other red, yeah, the blue's in the way. So the fact he's not on it now is giving himself a little bit of a headache.
Well, I can't quite understand then, Dennis, why he played at that pace if he thought the blue was going to be in the way. There was no value, the 5 points.
Yeah, I think another inch or so and he would have been able to have got to the potting angle of that red. He's got a good cue ball here. What a shot he's played here.
Well, clearly the best safety shot of the match so far. That was an incredible shot. From distance to get the pace right. Very good indeed.
That was a terrific cue ball. Perfect pace. Very difficult for Stephen Hendry here. Even if he was to get to this red near the pocket, he could still leave the one near the black, but he'd have to be so precise if he tries that shot. That's not what he wanted. There was a lot of things that could go wrong with that shot.
Well, this is the chance now for Jimmy to win frame and match.
One.
He's practiced very hard, worked very hard. He's back with his coach, Alan Bell, which I'm delighted about because Jimmy played all his best snooker when he was with Alan. They've been back together now for about 8 or 9 months, and we've seen a massive improvement in Jimmy. Especially his demeanour around the table. Alan helps him like Terry Griffiths does with Stephen Hendry, and Mark Williams helps with his general attitude around the table and temperament, and definitely helps him with his timing.
8.
Now, can he just get a little nudge in those 2 reds when potting this one? That will open them and leave them nicely on the black.
9.
Can he hold himself together?
Yes, if this wasn't the frame to win the match, you would expect 50 plus here.
16.
But there's a lot of pressure out there for Jimmy. He's almost on the comeback trail as a player. And to beat somebody the likes of Stephen Hendry at the Masters is a great achievement.
17.
And I think what was a big boost for Jimmy White was the fact that Steve Davis did so well in the Welsh Open, got to the final and should have really beaten Ronnie. Led 8-5 and lost in the deciding frame. And Jimmy's a few years younger than Steve.
22.
He's already 28 points in front. Well, every red's loose because when he starts clipping the ones either side of the pack, that opens the path for another red. So he hasn't even got to play one cannon in this break. He can play everything Alston and little screw shots and get
23.
over the line without doing anything. In saying that, he's just played a poor shot there, but he got a slight bad contact. He can screw it around 2 cushions without going into the pack. Here's the contact here. Just a little bounce on the cue ball.
Well, he'd like to take that one again. It just shows you what can go wrong, but that has confused
20.
Jimmy. I'm not sure how he managed to get the white there. He's having the white clean, but...
Well,
wow.
why not play it around 2 cushions, Dennis, to not risk anything going wrong there?
Well, it just shows you what the pressure can do with your cue action. It's so easy just to play a wrong shot. What a recovery, though.
29.
What a recovery. They're happy. Wow, 40 points in front. What a chance.
34. 35.
They're great friends, these two fellas. You could see that when they went to the mid-session interval. They had a laugh with each other.
Yes, it's perfect now, because when he gets rid of this red, he'll be able to get his hand on the table.
42.
Either side of the black spot area without any reds being in the way.
Yes.
Jimmy's been outscored in this match. He's been outpointed in this match, but importantly, when the pressure's on, he's potted the more pressure balls, and the safety shot he played to have a chance with this break was absolutely top draw. One of the best safety shots I've ever seen Jimmy White play.
Yes, and that shot could have been the key for a very famous victory here. He's got a bit to do yet. This is awkward. Having said that, he might just be able to cue at this one.
50. It's touching ball.
It's touching, but that doesn't matter. He's playing away from the ball. Not the white's touching. It's just a little bit of a distraction for this next shot for him. If he gets this right and gets on the black, you'd have to fancy him strongly.
Yes, it's amazing because Jimmy's not used to beating the top players much these days. How the excitement of doing it is just causing these little series of bad shots, and there's another one.
Well, he might be better off now. The pink's up the other end of the table. He's not on the black. If he could push this black safe with a 57-point lead, he'd be a very strong favourite.
Would you not prefer the brown safe, Dan? I don't know. It's black or brown. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just thinking if the black's out of the game and the pink's up the other end, it'd be very difficult for Stephen to score any points. But the thing is, it's not straightforward to put the black safe and get a good cue ball.
One thing I think he shouldn't do is try and clip the black in. He came round to look at the angle, but I think if he pushes the brown towards the yellow, he's playing the green. But whatever happens, he needs to get a colour safe. Clever shot. Green safe, pink safe, yellow safe, white 57 in front. Strong favourite. But he perhaps should have won at that visit.
The black is on its spot. And Stephen Hendry get a chance. What is he playing here? Is it just the safety? Is he taking the pot on? What a pot. What a shot. And he can pot this black, but I don't think he can cannon the reds. But that is an incredible pot. That was the reason I thought that Jimmy might have tried to get the black saved.
8.
Yeah, but the fact yellow and green are out of commission, it's impossible. And I say impossible, and I mean impossible to clear at this visit. But if he gets these 5 reds and 5 blacks, he's right back into the game. And that would be heartbreaking for Jimmy.
9.
might need a little cannon here to hold the white. He's not as far out on the black as he wanted. If he can cannon the red that's just above the 2. It looks as if he's rolling it. So he's going to have to pot a longish red. You like to keep them as simple as possible
60
at this stage.
Yes, I suppose if there was one man in the world who'd want to bat for you at 57 behind in the final frame, this young man would be your choice. Going back to the safety shot Jimmy played, green safe, pink safe, that was a big shot. Dennis is obviously right now, the fact that he'd have put the black out of commission, but he's still going to have at least 1, maybe 2 more chances to win this frame.
Got into that too well. This is a bit of a stretch now. It's going to need the rest.
Played it well.
25.
I'm just thinking a few shots ahead here. I think the only way that Stephen's got half a chance of developing this into a chance to win the frame is off the last red. Play the cannon on either green or yellow, depending on what side of the table he is, knowing that he's bound to get onto the brown. That's the only way he can possibly win the game or have a chance to win the game at one visit. Oh! Just when he'd done all the hard work. Now, what's in the game? 25 in the game. 2 reds, Dennis. 2 colours is enough.
That red that he missed earlier, he missed a pink into exactly the same pocket.
Well,
that one wiped his feet a little bit. It is tense out there. And he can't just drop the blue in. He hasn't got the angle to do that, so he's going to have to force it to get back up for that red.
And it certainly helps the fact that the yellow's off its spot now, because he can play over the path of the yellow spot twice on the way down and check it back up again. He must play this shot because yellow and green are safe. If you miss it, you miss it, but you've got to play the shot.
How's the pace on the cue ball? It's perfect.
6.
Well, they can't believe it. What a match, Willie. And what a victory. Stephen Hendry looked like he was going to dominate the match the way he started off earlier on. But every credit to Jimmy White.
Yes, you've got to be pleased for Jimmy. At his age, to battle on and keep trying and trying and trying. Stephen Hendry, I'm sure, is going to offer his hand in congratulations. A standing ovation from this crowd of well over 1,000 people. Jimmy White's delighted, his army of fans are delighted. The table sported a bit, but it was a great match. Congratulations, Jimmy White. Commiserations, Stephen Hendry. He loses by 6 frames to 4.